Hi, and welcome to the next video of my LPL summer preview for the spring split in 2022. We're going to cover Rare Atom, the first playoff team from spring on the list. I have them finishing 12th. I think that they overachieved a bit in spring and took advantage of the OMGs, the IGs of the world, and snuck in. So they went 8-8, finished ninth. Their academy team absolutely atrocious, finishing 1-21. So there is not a lot here as far as academy is concerned to try and improve this team. Looking at it, the only thing that they really need to do is decide on a support, which we'll get to. They lost Junja, I guess. He was a backup jungler, and they lost an academy player, Eon. I think that's Eon, or it's a long way to say Ian. Um, Nevertheless, not a lot of big losses for them. They started their the four roles outside of support. The starter played every game, and support was split. So Cube in top lane. Cube was very good. In my opinion, he was the best player on their team this past split. An 8.65 CS per minute is fantastic for a top laner. He kept up with the best. Like I've said all MSI preview long. I mean, not MSI. I mean, all my preview videos for MSI in regards to RNG, I always reference Rare Atom knew how to beat RNG, and no one else does. And it's to match them in top lane and go after the top laner. And Cube was huge in that series. Cube had some pop off moments this past split. 56.8 KP, nearly 24% kill share, which is pretty high for a top laner. He was able to outproduce what his gold share was. 8 out of 42 champion pool. That's another thing. He doesn't have a massive champion pool. He doesn't have an ocean, but he does well with what he's got. Now, as far as academy is considered, Torch has got an okay CS per minute around 8, but his KDA is 1.37. Kill share is 4.5% lower than Cube. Less KP. More champions played 10 and 35 games. He should probably play less champions and go from there. Obviously, this team was I didn't watch it play, so I don't know what caused it to be as bad as it is. But I don't think Torch was it. I mean, his KDA is bad, but he was keeping up in farm. Jungle-wise, Lan had some moments this past split that kind of made you raise your eyebrows, like, oh, wow, that was nice, or, oh, wow, what the heck are you doing? 6.14 CS per minute, very good farmer as well. He was able to embrace a carry jungler role. 66 KP, not what you'd want, but with this over 6 CS per minute, that is acceptable. Obviously, instead of making plays, he is farming for late game. 19% KP, which is okay for a jungler because that's about the amount of gold you get. So he's doing work with what gold he gets, given that he is farming as much as he is. Looking at the academy, yes, June. June. I feel like this might be one of their problems. So he played in 26 games and he had a CS per minute under 5, which is not good. You want it above 5. But even then, you say, okay, what was his KP? 70%. That's solid. So 70% KP, 5 CS per minute. That's all right. But his kill share is 24%. Now, this is where I have a problem with this academy team. If he's getting all the kills and he's not farming, now they're not able to take advantage of the fact that he's getting kills, he's getting shutdowns and things of that nature. And that is probably why the team struggles. Instead of those kills going on the mid laner or AD carry more often, especially the mid laner looking at these numbers, it causes them problems. And that's where this team actually had problems, was mid lane. So 7 out of 26 champion pool, that's okay. ZZX below him. I think ZZX should get a longer look as a starting academy jungler in the LDL. 5.27 CS per minute, it's okay. KP 76%. That's pretty damn high given that he had a CS per minute above 5.2. Obviously, he makes things happen and he finds time to farm. Kill share is about the same. I think that he should probably be getting more looks in the development roster. Obviously, finishing 1-21, there is a lot of room for them to move things around on this team. Um, I mean, if you finish in the basement, all hands on deck, anything should be possible. Mid lane Strive, I thought Strive did well at times this past split. On the Corki, especially, I can literally I'm thinking right now I can see Strive's Corki, which is weird because um, I couldn't care less about Strive really. Rare Adams just like whatever to me, but I remember this past spring seeing his Corki go off from time to time. He had his moments where he popped off for this team. 907 CS per minute. He certainly kept up. There's one thing for sure with this team. It keeps up in farm. It is not going to get behind in lane. It is team fighting and macro decisions that causes this team to struggle. 68.2 KP, solid. Around 24.5 KP. Kill share solid. Much higher than his gold share, which was 2% lower than that. 10 out of 42 champion pool. Strive is in no way in danger of losing a slot on this team. Honestly, I don't think top through bot have any chance of losing a roster slot. Doing on their academy team, absolutely awful. 7.78 CS per minute, 1.58 KDA, 64% kill participation, 15.7% kill share. Now, that is where there's a problem. Obviously, this mid-jungle duo is not that good with the development team. Neither one are keeping up in farm, and the jungler's getting the kills. Doing might be a 16-year-old kid, and we'll see what he does. I don't know how old he is or anything like that. But right now, if I had to pick a player that was the cause of their issues this past spring without watching them play, it had to be the mid laner. 10 out of 35 champion pool. And that was another thing. Literally, I don't even pay attention to what these players play as champions. When it comes to the academy players, I'm really not paying attention. Except I saw Set. Doing played Set as one of his 3 most played champions this past split. That's probably why his CS per minute's so down. But at the same time, Set was not a meta pick, and you are losing game after game after game. You have just play Corki or Syndra or Victor or Ryze or Orianna. Just play some common control mage champions. The Corki when it was in meta, I don't understand what they were doing. In mid, iBoy. iBoy I have as the 4th best player on this team, which says a lot about this team. This team is pretty good. iBoy is a respectable 80 carry, 958 CS per minute. KP is much lower than you'd like, 61%. Right after you saw the last video in this playlist of Betty putting up like 76 KP, 2 very different 80 carries. iBoy more focused on farming his own lane, and Betty not so much. 26% kill share, which is pretty good given that he's not in many fights. 23.6% gold share. You'd like that to be higher. And speaking of getting higher, I believe that in bot they have bot lane probably was the strongest slot on the team on the academy roster. Such 9.63 CS per minute, 68% KP, 33% kill share, 25% gold share. Such was solid despite his team struggles, and as was FMJ. FMJ probably should be getting a look as the starter for the academy team, or at the very least being traded, or you trade Such and you try and get a support on this team that you can rely upon. FMJ, over 10 CS per minute in 7 games played, 67% KP, 31% kill share. He only played Jinx and Tristana, but 10 CS per minute. I'm not going to say 10 CS per minute very often at all in these videos, I imagine. So if somebody is putting up that kind of farm, even in a small sample size, they deserve a longer look in some shape or form, especially on a team that's 1-21 over the split. That's something you can build off of. Support, Uyanja. Uyanja has experience, I believe, on the international stage, if I remember correctly. 65% KP, 10 out of 34 champion pool. This is the thing. So Uyanja and Zora were swapping back and forth. Zora did not play many games, only played 8 games. KP was higher, KDA was much lower. Um, I mean, they have to figure out something. If they want to go with Uyanja, then stick with Uyanja. Let Zora go down to the academy roster, honestly, and stop subbing them in and out. And maybe this Zora, if you can put Zora with Such or FMJ in the academy team, in the LDL, maybe that team does not finish in the basement in summer. Just a consideration. Palick is their support in academy. 68% KP, 10 out of 26 champion pool. I'd like him to play less champions. If he's got a 168 KDA, how about you play less and focus on what you have and play it better? I mean, it's hard to really blame anybody when the mid lane is so awful on this team. I mean, they need to find an academy mid laner some way. I believe that there is a way to do that. Whether you lose Such or you lose FMJ, I believe you have to do something. Otherwise, Rare Adam actually looks pretty decent. Unlike how I felt about anyone's legend. This team, the players obviously are mechanically very good in lane, and it's just a matter of them putting it together when it comes to mid to late game. And that's why they're a playoff team, and maybe they continue to be a playoff team. I'm high on IG in some roles. That's why IG is above Rare Adam, but I could see it going either way. Comment down below if you are a Rare Adam fan. How do you feel about them going into summer? Do you think that Uyanja or Zora should be the starting support? If you watch the LDL, how does FMJ and Such look? Because FMJ, on paper, looks like a pretty strong bot laner. Subscribe to the channel for daily League of Legends content. Like the video if you liked it, and thank you for watching.